McHale's Navy. So this is a remake of a previous work from a number of years earlier. I think this is in like, I don't know, 93, something like that. Stars Tom Arnold as the eponymous McHale, and Tim Curry as the villain. So this is an alumni bottom 100. It was on the list from 2004. It's not down there anymore, and I think kind of deservedly so. It's a really poorly crafted film, but it has a couple redeeming qualities, and it's sort of a mixture that the writing is really inconsistent as far as characters go. Some of the characters are just infinitely grating and you can't stand them, and then Tim Curry as the villain is so overdone that it's hilarious. That's pretty much the only thing I really genuinely got a chuckle out of in the movie, was just Tim Curry. Every time he's on screen, he totally steals the show and just chews it all over the place. It's fantastic. I love seeing Tim Curry just pretty much anything he does. I mean, he made, Muppets Treasure Island, of all things, really impressive. He just plays such a great villain. You can't not love the guy. Again, it stars Tom Arnold, who is super forgettable in this movie. But it also features a number of other people that are worth mentioning. David Alan Grier plays the most annoying character, almost the most annoying character I've ever seen on screen. Just no. Then Bruce Campbell has a semi-bit role as one of the sort of crewmen under McHale, and he's just sort of I suppose sort of a ladies' man kind of sailor, but he's Bruce Campbell, and he basically is playing Bruce Campbell in the movie. He doesn't do a whole lot, but when he does, it's Bruce Campbell-y. It's nice to see him in things. Other than that, I'm trying to remember who else was in this. The guy that was it Ziggy was the second character in Quantum Leap? I'm totally blanking on this guy's name. He's been in tons of stuff. Plays the stuffy commanding officer of this base. But I guess might as well get into the plot. McHale is a retired Navy operative, I guess. Does covert shenanigans. And he is down in somewhere near Cuba, more or less, islands near Cuba in the Caribbean. He now brews beer, makes ice cream, and sells calendars to local Navy people and local islanders and such. So that's how he makes his living. He's very popular with the local Navy base, which is a really small installation with an assorted team of ragtag one-dimensional characters. I mean, when I say they're one-dimensional, they're really one-dimensional. There's one guy who his only really defining characteristic is that he sleeps in trees, and that's pretty much the extent of what you get out of him. So basically, they're very laid-back, not particularly professional folks, and then they get a new commanding officer, no explanation who the previous commanding officer was, and he's just kind of a hard ass, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's this dude who was in Quantum Leap, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And he's also really, really overdone. He doesn't have any redeeming qualities, and pretty much his only characteristic is that he's unlikable. I mean, what else can you do with that? He also has a second in command who at first is equally unlikable, but she sort of redeems herself over the course of the movie, I guess. She becomes the token romance for Tom Arnold's character, which just makes her pretty much just a fill-in, woman character, which is really, really pathetic, because, they could have done way more interesting and better things with that other than just use the, I believe, only woman character in the thing. Who actually, I believe I read somewhere that part of why this movie is so unpopular is because they made major character changes, and she was one of them. She was originally a dude, and God forbid they, obviously I think it was because they wanted to throw an unnecessary romance subplot, but, having at least one woman character is just so incredibly out of line, right? Anyway, so, yeah, she's not very good at the acting, and her character isn't written very well, so what can you do? Tim Curry is a terrorist who has history with McHale. The second best terrorist in the world. They mention that a number of times. It annoys him, and they never state who the number one terrorist in the world is. He's working with sort of fill-ins for... there's like 3 dictators that are working together and have hired him. One of them, I guess, is supposed to be China. One of them looks like he's supposed to be Iran, and then I'm forgetting the other one. Yeah, 3 obvious fill-ins for bad guys in geopolitical diplomacy. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. He is kind of... It's unclear exactly what he's doing. At first you think he's working for them, but then he does a bunch of, double-crossing and evil things, and ultimately it seems like he's planning to assassinate some Pentagon head named Cobra, I guess. I assume that's a code name. Who is previously worked with McHale and ropes him back in to try and stop this terrorist from doing terroristy things. Whatever. There's a couple of boat fights, and they're not particularly well shot or interesting. I really like Tim Curry, the bad guy in this movie, has this great boat. Even though he was trained at Quantico and is stated to be like an American that was trained to be a double agent, he is just as Russian can be. He has like CCCP written on the side of his boat and all this kind of stuff. And it's basically just, it's like I'm trying to remember. It's just this great, big speedboat that has missiles on it and stuff. And compared to McHale's boat, at least in the beginning, it's just kind of a broken down little schooner thing. Yeah, Tim Curry's really the reason to watch this movie. In general, it's boring, and there's enough aggravating, sort of annoying characters, and things that don't go anywhere, things that don't make sense, but it was pretty watchable. I wouldn't recommend it for like a bad movie night for fun. There's not a ton of laughs, because it is a comedy that isn't a very good comedy, so there's not a whole lot going on with it, but I think, Tim Curry's performance is worth at least seeing some clips of it, maybe. Other than that, it's, pretty skippable. And there's also really bad child acting in it, which is just a big pet peeve of mine. One of the focal points is this child who's a native of the island, who Tom Arnold's McHale is taking care of because his father was his partner and was killed by the Tim Curry character in some of elaborate double cross we never get information on in any kind of detail, apart from it happened in Panama. But yeah, I can sort of see why this isn't in the bottom 100 anymore. Its score is up to like 4.0 now. Yeah, it's still really bad and not good, but you could sit through it.
Somewhere off the coast of the United States, a mercenary terrorist force has captured the island of San Marino. Their mission is to intercept a satellite, arm a nuclear missile, and destroy the Pentagon.
Surprise! You ready, boys? Call 911. Well, there goes tonight's luau. It's party time! Are you waving in town?
Okay, we can't take everything. Leave the guns.
Hey, McHale!
Come on and pop me!
Tom Arnold, David Alan Grier, Dean Stockwell, Deborah Messing, with Tim Curry, Danton Stone, Bruce Campbell, and French Stewart. McHale's Navy.
No way.
Big way.
Directed by Brian Spicer.